Hello again, everybody. This is Patrick Fallon here again, author of the Queenstown Wedding blog, and this is part two of Wedding Productivity Hack number one, which is all about email. In particular, it's all about Google Inbox or Inbox by Google, I think it's actually technically called. So to sort of continue on from where we left off, and apologies, it's been a long time since I did that first podcast. To continue on from where we left off, before I forget, I just wanted to mention one thing about Google Inbox, and that is that with the desktop version, it is web-based. It's not an app. So what that means is if you don't have an internet connection, you don't have access to your emails. It's just the same as Gmail on your computer in that sense. With the iPhone version, it is an app, so even if you don't have any Wi-Fi or are unable to connect to the internet for whatever reason, you can still access the emails that and view the emails that you've already downloaded. All right, now that I've got that off my chest, so for this podcast, part two of the wedding productivity hack number one, all about emails. I want to talk about a plugin for Google Inbox called Mixmax, and so Mixmax is it's a free extension that you can get for Chrome. I think you can also get it for Safari and possibly Internet Explorer and a few other web browsers. And what it does is it basically supercharges Google Inbox and gives you some pretty cool features that Google Inbox doesn't come with. It is a free extension. However, I think to get the most out of it, you either need to pay for a subscription, which is relatively expensive, or you can do what I did, which is basically send out an email or otherwise share with, I think it's 7 friends or 10 friends about Mixmax. And when you do that, it gets you a sort of a free basic subscription, which gives you some pretty nifty features. So I'm going to show you some of those nifty features now. So first of all, I'm going to just create a new email. So I'm just going to click on this compose button at the bottom right, click on there, and it doesn't really matter who we send it to, but I'll send it to myself. And subject, we'll just put test Mixmax features. Okay, and so with this version of, actually it's showing a little signature here, sent with Mixmax, I can't even say it. You can get rid of that. I think from memory in my own email account, this is obviously just a test account I set up to show you the features of Mixmax and Google Inbox. In my own account, I have Mixmax set up to create signatures, and it doesn't show, I think from memory, that's sent by Mixmax signature. So let's say, actually let's change that subject. Let's say, let's meet up. So let's say you're a bride or a groom and you have been communicating with a vendor and you decide it's time to either meet up in person or say have a Skype chat with that person, and then you have the inevitable back and forth by email to come up with a time where you're all free. Well, Mixmax helps you solve that problem actually. So you can click on Enhance and scroll up to Share Availability, and that will open a new window, and we'll just wait for it to load. And when you click on the Share Availability button, what it will do is Mixmax shows a calendar, and it will show your Gmail calendar actually. It's not showing anything here because this is a test account that I set up, but normally when I send an email from Google Inbox using Mixmax in my own account and I click on Share Availability, it will show what I have scheduled in the weeks or days that I'm looking at in this window, so I can tell when I'm busy. And let's just say I'm a groom and my name is Trevor, good solid name, and the vendor I'm going to meet up with is Patrick, who is a wedding photographer. And let's say we're going to meet up at, I don't wonder if it'll actually search. We'll put Fergburg or Queenstown. That's where everyone meets these days, isn't it? it's not obviously searching for real places, but that's fine. I'm not going to bother with the description for now. Up in the top right corner, you can set the length of the meeting. Let's say half an hour. That's a sort of a good minimum time to meet with a vendor. And I can put a note in here if I want. And what I'm going to do is, let's just assume that there are some other appointments showing up in here. And let's say I'm free from 1 to 4. I can just click and drag from 1 to 4 p.m. And because I've set the default meeting length to 30 minutes, when I click and drag, it will just create multiple 30-minute windows. And let's say I've got some up here, I've got some here, I've got some here. Now again, normally this would show me, if I was my own account, it would show me if I had any conflicting things in my calendar here. So it's really good at, helping you schedule times that you are actually available. So then I'm happy with the times I've inserted. If I wanted to insert more in the future, I can go up to the top here, click the right arrow, and then it'll take me into a little bit later in the month. But I'm happy with those. I'll just go back to where we are. So we've got some windows on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, the 6th, 7th, and 8th of October. I'm going to click Insert Times. And it just inserts this cool little window. I can put text above it. I can put, "Hi Patrick, let's meet up. I'm available at the following." Just click the one that works for you. There we go, and I can send that to sorry, not to Trevor. I'm Trevor in this situation. I can send that to Patrick, a potential wedding photographer who I want to meet up with, and he can click any one of these buttons and schedule a time. So that's a really nifty way to schedule meetings. Another cool feature with Mixmax is this here, the Send Later button. Let's say I don't want it to send until tomorrow morning because I want to check with my partner and make sure that she likes this guy and she's happy with us meeting up with him. So I'll just say tomorrow morning, which is going to be 8 a.m. tomorrow. Boom, send later. Right, now what else can we do? The other thing, which is, actually let's just have another look at the compose window, enhance. There's obviously a bunch of other options here. You can do polls, you can embed an image in an email, which means you can insert the image in an email in a way that it can't easily be downloaded. It's just sort of like a background image in the email, but that doesn't take up the whole background of the email. You can put slideshows, you can attach things from the cloud. It's pretty powerful. The other thing which is pretty nifty is this feature here. This is tracking. So Mixmax allows you to track when an email that you've sent from Google Inbox is opened. The free basic version of the Mixmax plan I have only allows me to see I think the latest time it was opened, or one time that it was opened, and then obviously I have to pay to upgrade to be able to see every single time it was opened. But what you can do is you can, if you want a little bit more information, you can click on this live feed button top right, and that takes you to Mixmax, and that will show you a list of when your emails were opened. So we'll just go to live feed, and here we go. It's showing 3 emails that I've sent that have been opened, and showing you when they've been opened. I think it will also show you, oh here we go, it also can show you when a link has been clicked on, when something has been downloaded, and when one of your emails has been replied to. The other thing that is really handy in Mixmax in conjunction with Google Inbox is templates. Excuse me. Is templates. So we see them here, and you can create your own, and that can just save you a huge amount of time. So you could create a template to send to all your wedding vendors that just requires a minimum amount of modification depending upon the vendor type, and it will save you a ton of time. And you could do that with any number of email actions that you commonly make in your wedding planning process. Anyway, I think that's about all for now. Obviously, Mixmax has got a ton of features you can see from this window, and also if we go back and click on the Compose window and Enhance, there's a ton of features there that I haven't touched on. That's basically because I don't really use those features at all myself, or haven't so far. But hopefully that gives you a bit of an introduction to Mixmax in conjunction with Google Inbox, and how it can help you with productivity when you are planning your wedding and you have a million emails to send and receive. All right, folks, that is all from me.